Hey guys, welcome to Speak Audibly's 100% Me podcast. It's your host, Mike Wilson, and today we have another amazing episode. We're starting a new series called The Motivated Ones, and today's guest is exactly that. He is highly motivated. Yeah, we're talking to JD DeLafuente. Hey, before we jump in with JD though, I want to make sure you hit that subscribe button and also smash that notification bell. That way you know anytime we release a new video. Go ahead and do it right now. I'll wait. Come on, subscribe. All right. Well, without further ado, man, let's jump in with JD. Hey guys, welcome to SpeakAudibly.com. My name is Mike B. And I'm here with my son. We're playing at the dog park here. It's amazing. Hey guys, like I said, man, I am with my brother, my friend, my business partner. I mean, this is JD DeLafuente, the man, the myth. He is in the house. JD, how are you today, brother?
What's up, Mike? Dude, hey, bro. Much love to you, man. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm super excited for sure, brother.
Oh, man. I've been waiting for this one for like a week and a half, man. For those of you guys who don't know, a little background, I met JD just a couple months ago, but very quickly, and you're going to see here, I realized this dude has a great energy. I mean, he's motivated, he's ambitious. He's the kind of guy that I want to surround myself with. And so we got together, we've been doing lunches, and I'm like, man, I gotta get this dude on the podcast, man. I can't hog him to myself. I gotta share him with the world. But before we go too deep, JD, and who you are, man, just let us know a little more about you, your family, and your business, man. What you got going on?
Man, so I'm 33. I'm here out of Fort Worth, Texas. I am married, and I got two little boys, got a 3 and a 4-year-old, Jay and Jude, my beautiful wife, Shayla. You'll get to meet her soon enough, brother, for sure.
Awesome.
And so a little bit of background where I come from. I was born and raised here in Fort Worth, Texas. I worked for the railroad for about 15 years, and I am now into real estate, 2 feet, do that full time. We have our own business on the side with rentals and rehabs and flips and getting into all that kind of stuff. So real estate is the future for us, and that's where we're currently at right now, man. Super excited to be kicking off my real estate agency here as of January. So I'm just now getting my feet wet as an agent, but we've been doing rentals and rehabs and our own and personal real estate investments since 2012. So looking forward to the future, man.
That's what's up. I mean, as you guys know, your boy is also involved and really wanting to get the investment game going. So you see why I say, I mean, we're like 2 peas in a pod. I mean, motivation, encouragement. This dude is one of those guys who's just, like I said, very, very highly motivated. And that's why he's a part of this, the Motivated Ones series here on the podcast. And so let's talk real quick, because I know you're motivated and you're ambitious and you're the energy guy right now. Let's talk past JD, young JD. What were the things and who were the people that kind of motivated you in the past?
Man, I mean, let's be real, dude. I was class clown, probably rated to go nowhere back in the day. I mean, I meet people to this day that hadn't seen in a long time, and they're like, man, dude, you actually came up a little bit. You actually decided you were gonna do something with your life, right? So, man, I would say there was I had a lot of negative things that would hold me down probably previous to getting out of high school, and most of those were things that I was doing, probably some self-inflicted things I was doing. But after high school, I realized real quick leaving there that I was growing up and I needed to come up with a plan, and I needed to come up with that plan quick. And I've always been a pretty motivated person, but once you start realizing how the world's really working out there and you start setting your mind to what it is that you want to achieve, man, that's when it all kind of started for me, was doing that. So
Wow. So I hear you saying. You're kind of, like you say, you're rated to go nowhere. How did your surroundings, how did that environment either aid to that or kind of take away from the motivation that you had?
Man, dude, that's a good one. So whenever I was in, a lot of people don't know this, and I haven't shared this with very many people, but when I was in high school, I remember counselors shooting down dreams. I decided I had told myself, came up with a plan for myself that I was going to graduate high school early and start kicking off what I wanted to do with my life. And I remember going into that office and telling this counselor and saying, hey, I want to look at my transcript. I want to see what I need to do to move my graduation date up to, at least a half a semester or whatever I can do. And I'll never, ever, ever forget the feeling of rejection at that time in my life when she said, you're really not the kind of material that is capable of doing these things.
Wow.
And your transcript just doesn't look good enough. And you're just not the type that's going to be able to make that happen. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Wow.
And it gives me the chills right now because walking out of that room, that's what lit my fire, and that point in my life, having somebody try to put some sort of limitation on me. Mind you, I'm 16, dude.
Wow.
I'm 16 years old, and this lady is telling me, basically narrowing it down to, I'm going to amount to nothing, and I'm not going to be able to make that happen for myself because she didn't think I was the type that could get it done. And so, walking out of that room, man, it just really lit my fire and kind of, there's something about people telling you what your limitations are that should fuel you.
Right.
And right there did it for me, man. And like I say, I'll never forget that feeling that I had of a standard, being held to a standard. So I said, you know what? She doesn't believe in me. I got to believe in myself. I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm not letting her put that on me. So I left that place, and that's a whole nother story. But man, I made it happen. And it wasn't easy. Got out of high school, graduated, got my stuff done, and jumped onto the BNSF railway. And that's what kickstarted my life and my career there.
Wow.
So, yeah, man.
Wow, no, that's crazy because I mean there are so many people who have a similar story, but how the story began for you and how it's fleshing itself out is different. Because some people, they hear those things and they believe it, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a parent, whether it's a friend or a friend's parent, because I've had all those people as well say those same sorts of things. For me, it was a third grade teacher who she, and led the class and laughing at the fact that I wanted to be a roboticist, and I put that in my book, 100% Me Mentally, because it changed the trajectory of my life. I was this little kid who wanted to do something, and Mrs. P, if you still out there, she was kind of old back in third grade, so she may not be, but that was one of those things. And for me, I sat in that place for a long time. So the fact that you're a 16-year-old young dude and someone is telling you and putting this cap on you so early in life, and you're able to say, you know what, this is going to be that spark that jumpstarts something great in my life, and you get motivated from that. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'd like to say that that's probably a big part of the energy that we see today, right?
Oh, of course, man. Of course. It definitely jump started, and it's so funny you give that shout out. So man, I got to do the same. And hopefully one day she'll hear this. Her name's Maria Oran, and
Yes.
she was a counselor for Khan Academy. And I reached out to her and I said, this is my situation, and here's what I'm going through. I'm getting absolutely no help from my current counselor. How can you help me? And her response was real quick, like, you come see me, you bring your transcript, and I'll do what I can for you, and I'll get you where you got to go.
Wow.
And man, that just warms my heart, to be,
Yeah.
and she was a good family friend of ours from the church, and just super great people. Now she's actually moved on to Fort Worth PD, and she's doing her thing there. But yeah, she was a blessing to my life, dude, right there, and
awesome.
looking back on it now, I'm so appreciative of that right there. Just this, such a small act of kindness from her it meant and allowed me to do so much more moving forward.
Wow, man. Especially with this current, temperature when it comes to the race wars and sort of, this us against police, man. I'm so glad that you mentioned that she went from being a counselor of the youth, being able to encourage cats like you to Fort Worth PD. Like, so there are some amazing people in Fort Worth PD. So I don't want anyone on this podcast to think that we put anyone or anything in a box, because there are no boxes here. There's no boxes here. And so, Miss Maria, we thank you so much for what you did so many years ago. And let's talk about this energy that you have, man.
Woo!
I've mentioned it, and you are on fire, and I love it. I
Dude,
love it.
all you have to do is say the word energy, man, and people are always like, man, why are you so hyped up? And I get this more than I don't. I'm probably doing this right now. I'm probably getting loud, but just thinking about the energy that we have in our bodies just gets me pumped up, dude. Man, I just get fired up, and I love sharing energy. And sometimes it comes out in all sorts of different ways. But the first way is usually me getting loud and just like, woo, I just get the feels, and I'm like, man, let's go. Whatever it is that we are setting our mind to, whatever is going down, dude, let's do it full speed, baby.
Come on. I love it.
I've always had a high energy growing up my entire life, dude, and it got me in a lot of trouble, to be honest. It got me in a lot of trouble because I was always acting a fool, doing this with, using my energy in a negative way.
Ooh,
as a youth, man, I was just acting like a clown, dude. Like, let's call it what it was. Yeah. But I learned as I was adulting how to transition into using that energy in a more effective way to help me stay motivated, to help my wife stay motivated, to keep my kids fired up, dude, keep those kids motivated. So that energy is just, I'm very attracted to other people's energy too. So, man, when I get fired up with like people like you, and I get surrounded by these people that are, like-minded, dude, the energy is just on. It's like, woo! I love it, dude. And another thing that kind of got me, my mental state, into a whole nother level. And I don't know if you and I have ever talked about this, but about 3.5 years ago, my wife and I got introduced to a health and wellness company, and we got all in to something that we needed, that our nutrition, as our body was kind of just aging, and you kind of start to think, man, and for me, it was like, man, I need to start doing something more for my body, just to feel better, just for my general health. Yeah. And we got into this health and wellness deal, and the products absolutely changed my life, dude, believe it or not. I know that sounds crazy, but they did, man. They changed my life in so many different ways, not just from the inside out, but, just the people I was surrounded by, the people that were in the business side of the health and wellness. So it started with just me and my body, right? Yeah. How I'm feeling. I'm like, woo! A lot of the energy comes from that. Shoot, I'm still.
Come on.
And from there, we got introduced to the business side of the deal. And then, now all of a sudden you're surrounded by all these high energy, thinkers. These guys they're high achievers. And surrounding yourself by people like that is only going to allow you to go one way.
Come on.
So, and man, I got to give a shout out to my buddy, Aaron Aponte, dude, because, and I think I turned you on to him. Yeah. And this guy right here, he's just, he's so motivated, and he literally lit my fire 3.5 years ago to ignite to what it is right now, Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of my energy comes from that too, so I definitely want to share that with people.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. So I know you had mentioned, how you had this negative energy, class clown, because center of attention don't really change. It's just you're getting different people's attention now. And so what is that importance of having and seeing things through a positive lens, that positivity that you're kind of alluding to? What's the importance?
Dude, so it's so easy to get distracted into negativity. It's so easy. I mean, it's easier to be distracted into negativity than it is to positivity, right?
Right.
And when I'm looking through the lens of what I want my life to be and what I want my family's life to be, it comes down to just setting the standard and setting the foundation for my family, my kids that are watching, my wife that's watching, my friends that are watching, my family that's watching, just being able to impact anybody and everybody I face, touch hands with, hug, see on a video, see on while I'm on stage playing music, whatever it is, I want it to be nothing but positivity. And I want it to be energy that I can bring to people's lives, man, because at the end of the day, there's so much darkness in this world. And if I can bring just a smidget of light, dude, into somebody and anybody's life, then it's all for the good, man. It's all for the good.
Come on, man. Woo, you starting to hype me up now. I'm trying to keep my composure on the show here.
Oh,
man, you start hitting all the right notes with that one, man. I mean, from motivating your family, because for those of you guys who are watching this and you have kids, even if they are young kids, understand that they are watching. Just like JD said, your kids are watching. They feed off your energy. They feed off your example. That's beautiful, man. So with your level of positivity, we have a lot of people who are still sitting at home. Some people who can't find jobs because of Rona, right? We have the coronavirus pandemic going on right now. And this thing is crazy because now people are starting to talk about, man, everything's starting to spike. It's coming back around. It's going to be worse in the fall. And we got schools that are like, we don't know really where to go right now. We're going virtual. We're going, hybrid. Man, a lot of people are in their heads right now and they're in a negative space. Like you say, you rarely accidentally fall into positivity, right? So how are you and how could you encourage people through this pandemic to stay positive?
Man, so for me, it's positivity is not just, it's not situational. Positivity has got to be a lifestyle, dude. The positivity's got to be your lifestyle. It's got to be one of your core values, and I hold that to a very, very high standard of positivity because I don't have any room for negativity. So what I would tell people and what I do tell people is let this time be a time to reflect on what type of person you really are. And if you are the type of person that's fallen into these negative traps and mindsets, then it's time to reevaluate exactly where your mindset really is, because I've been planning for times like this for years.
Yeah.
Mike, I've been planning times and my mind was ready for this battle that everybody's facing. So what I want to tell my friends and my family and all my people and all the listeners is get your mind right now, because this is only temporary, man. This is just such a little small negative piece of our lives that is affecting us in a negative way right now. But I promise you, man, when this is all over and you were as bright and positive as you could be right here in this negative moment, what is going to happen to you in 6 months when this is, God willing, is blowing over and we are on a whole nother spectrum of where we're headed? Now, all of a sudden, you were so strong and you had so much positive energy in you while you were in the negative, most pandemic time of the world we're seeing. Think what you're going to be doing in 6 months when everything is back to what we want to call a normal, and how high of an energy and how positive you're going to be looking through that lens.
Come on, man. I hope y'all caught that. I hope y'all just caught what JD is really talking about, right? Because we're not talking about a situational or a circumstantial positivity. We're talking about living life and thinking through a mindset of seeing things through a lens that forever looks different, because it's a lifestyle. It's not a circumstance. It's not a situation. It's a lifestyle. So you built this foundation of positive thinking, of moving forward. And like, I love the quote that says, birds of a feather flock together. Because I see people as, either you got vultures or hummingbirds. And you're saying, man, we intentionally walk through life like hummingbirds, right? We're not even saying, hey, we just see the glass, half full. No, we'll offer you a drink of ours. You know what I'm saying? like that's what's awesome. I love that about you, brother. And so let's turn a little bit, because people heard that investing, they heard that that you invest in real estate. And there are a lot of people, because I come across quite a few people who say, I want to invest. They don't know what that looks like. They don't know what that sounds like. They just know that there are cats on other podcasts that say, hey, make sure you're investing in real estate. Hey, make sure your money's making money for you while you sleep. And they have no idea what that looks like. So, when you started years ago, what was that thing that you said, what? This is why, or this is how I need to get started in this?
So my dad was into real estate investments all my life, and I watched Dad do that for years. I was right there in his hip, man, sitting in the middle seat, rehabbing houses. I'll never forget the house that my dad had first bought that was literally a dump. It was burnt halfway to the ground, hardly anything left on this house. And Dad says, I'm going to buy that house. And I'll never forget, dude. We were looking at him like, man, this dude's done lost his mind. He's crazy. My grandpa's laughing at him. He's like, man, that thing, you need to put a match to it. And in Spanish, it said, finish the job. Like,
right.
Keep burning. That's where it's going to be best to lay, right there, burned up. And so, I've seen my dad do that all my life. And I thought, he kind of set me up to buy my first house whenever I was 19. And he kept me at home so I wouldn't go out and rent any place. He didn't want me renting. He didn't want me paying anybody else's bills. And so he said, you stay here at this house and you give me X amount of dollars a month and I'm going to put it away for you. So that allowed me to get into my first, when it was time for me to buy, it allowed my down payment plus so much more to put down on that first house. Wow. And that was back in, man, I was 19. And when we outgrew that house, we bought another house. And I'll never forget, he said, whatever you do, don't ever sell that house. He said, because it's going to provide you with your first rental property. Wow. And that's exactly what we did. We bought our next house in 2012, and we lived in that house for 5 years. And meanwhile, we're still investing in. So now we have our first rental, and then we have our second rental, and then we rehab another one. We have our third rental, and wow. we don't have a house payment at this point, right? Because all these homes wow. are paying our house note. So you're literally living for free in a sense, So that's kind of how we got started, and it was all through rentals. And then you just keep the snowball rolling. And just I guess it's been almost 2 years ago, we sold that house and bought two more. Awesome. So we took some of the equity out, we put it down on another one and paid cash for another one. And just keeping the ball rolling. And it's all about, it's not an overnight, you see it too much where people are like, oh, sign up for this webinar, sign up for this little deal. I'm going to show you how to do it. $10.99 and you can get this. And I'm going to, for 10 grand, I'm going to show you this. And, and the facts are, dude, it takes so much work and discipline to do that type of stuff that there's not a book or any kind of seminar you're going to go to that is going to teach you what it takes to do that type of business and to build wealth through real estate. That's just my take on it,
Oh no, and I attest to that, because y'all are looking at someone who's taken the courses. I've done all the webinars, all the seminars. I've went to the gurus, right? And there's nothing like you said with the feet on the ground actually going. So when we did, we did our flip, and it was just like, wow, there's things in there that no one could have ever taught you. And the key word that you said there was discipline. That discipline, because you begin to hear in your story where things were really starting to help you create these disciplines in your life. And so that's awesome. Whether you did some cash out refis or whatever it was that you did to get those homes, man. That's awesome. And so, man, JD, I love you, brother, man. Everything that you've said, everything that you're doing currently and that you plan to do, your involvement with family, because if y'all check this guy out on social media at all, you'll realize when he says that his kids are watching, his wife is watching, he is a family man first, man. And so that's what's beautiful about this entire relationship that we have, because we see eye to eye on quite a bit, actually, right? Like two peas in a dang pod, man. Like, just awesome, brother. So before we get off here, is there anything that you want to offer? You know, 'cause you have a few different businesses actually and things that you do. Any sort of services that you want to offer the Speak Audibly community?
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Thanks for letting me shout that out. And first and foremost, man, I just want to thank you, man, for having me on, and just that relationship that we're building, man. It's been awesome, man. And I'm so, like I said, I'm so thankful for it. And I want to thank you for having me on. And yeah, man. So what I do is I am a full-time realtor here in the DFW area. You can find me at JD DeLafuente on YouTube. You can find me JD DeLafuente on Facebook. That is my main source of all my lives and most of my content. You can email me at propertyshopjd@gmail.com. And if you guys are in the DFW area, or you know anybody moving or to or from the DFW area, plug them in, man. And I take pride in what I do. I take pride in my customer service, and I promise I'll take care of your friends and your family just as well as I would you.
That's what's up. All right, guys. All of his information that he just mentioned will be in the show notes, so be sure to look in the links below to go ahead and contact JD. If you're looking if you yourself to buy, sell, or invest, or you know someone, definitely hit this man up. If you're looking for motivation, please get on his Facebook. You know, request this dude. He's awesome. He is awesome. And so before we get off here, I do have one kind of secret question that I love to ask all my guests on Speak Audibly's 100% Me podcast, and that is this right here. So the movie Dark Knight, the original one, came back in the early 2000s, and at the end, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but at the end, Batman is like, he's running, right? He was just kind of framed himself for the death of Harvey Dent, and so he's like, the people don't need a hero right now. And so he goes off the grid, and he's running. The cops are chasing them dogs, and he runs into the darkness. Right? He's off the grid until the next movie. So if you were in that same position, right? You're like, I got to go off the grid for whatever reason. I got to take a break. People are gonna kind of wonder, man, where JD's gone? How long is he gonna be gone? If there was one thing that you can say to motivate and encourage people before you're gone off the grid, you and the family are hiding away, what would that encouragement or that motivation be?
Man, that encouragement is so easy for me, man. My encouragement is to let go and let God. Because when you do that, man, your hands are up and the weight is off your shoulders, bro. And I can witness that firsthand, that when you let go and you let God, you don't need motivation, because he has already put that in you.
Oh, he preaching. Come on.
Your path of travel is already paved, and all you have to do is believe, get in that vehicle, and drive that path, because it's going to get you where you got to go, and it's going to get you exactly where he wants to put you in your life and doing his will, man. So, and that right there is motivation enough, brother.
Wow. It's in our weakness that we find his strength, y'all. This boy is preaching over here. Somebody help him. Somebody bring it on. Bring on the water. You got me feeling hype now. We got to re-up the podcast here now. But man, that's exactly it, y'all. Let go, let God. In these moments when you could be feeling real down right now, in a negative place, right? You may have friends or family who's been affected or impacted by the coronavirus, or any of the businesses that have been burned down in the rioting, or you could just really be hurt because your life story and what your life has led you up to this point. And what his encouragement is to let go and to let God right here, right now. JD, man, thank you so much for that encouragement. Thank you so much for who you are. We will be following your example. So continue to do what you do on Facebook, y'all. Again, all of his links are in the show notes below. Please go in there and hit this dude up.
Much love, brother. Thanks, dude.
All right, guys, just like I told you, that's why JD is on the series of the motivated ones here on 100% Me podcast, because he is exactly that. He is highly motivated. Be sure to follow him. All of his links are below, but definitely be able to follow him on Facebook. There you'll begin to see his videos. He goes live all the time, and he's just incredibly motivating. So if you're looking for that sort of encouragement, be sure to follow JD. I just want to say thank you guys again for watching Speak Audibly's 100% Me podcast. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so right now. Hey guys, I love you. Remember to speak audibly. You have a voice. Let it be heard. Link in the show notes. We have 100% Me mentally, 100% Me physically, 100% Me the hustler, and 100% Me mom. All 4 books